Hi, everybody. It's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. So, I have had a few of those common questions about the holiday season and food and feasting. And here it comes in the United States. It's going to be Thanksgiving next week, 6 days away from this recording here. But, in every single kind of culture for millennium, as far as human beings have existed, there are gatherings and ceremony and celebrations and parties and important events, all of which involve food. And people who have trouble with food and eating often get a little anxious or have a push pull experience when it comes to these feasts and start to think about the feast that's going to happen long before it ever does. So I thought I'd give a little, I'd share some very important tools or a mindset way to think about this impulse to eat or be worried about eating or be imagining of how you need to control your food, any of that kind of stuff. Just having it in the mind at all, I always wanted that to be gone. I wanted to not be concerned and not have fear or worry or trepidation about what was coming. But there were some steps to work with along the way. And I'm just going to share one. And that is the slow down process, the slowing down experience, slowing down. Okay, easy to say slow down. Like let's say, you're a mom and your kids are running down the street ahead of you. Slow down, slow down. I mean, sometimes the kids don't seem to hear it all, right? And if they're only 3 or 4 years old, which is sometimes the experience that feels like that emotional impulse that you're eating out of. It feels like this childish, frantic, wild, I'm going to just get what I want. I don't care. Hang the diet, I'm sick of this or whatever. Or I am so emotionally needy. I just want comfort. I just want everyone to go away. I want to not be bothered in this moment and I just want to eat food. I'm sick of the rules and the regulations and being constricted and feeling powerless and feeling uncomfortable. I just want to close down into my little shell like a sea anemone and have my time. All right. Those are the feelings and experiences when it comes to overeating or binge eating or graze eating and knowing you really aren't hungry, but you're eating. Slow down, right? Okay, easy to say. But I'll give you a couple of images that might help with this. So, number one is to just reorient yourself to saying, it is my deepest intention to slow down, to go slower with this. And it means the mind going slower. It doesn't mean you actually have to be super slow, like slow motion with eating, although that helps. I can't believe how fast I used to eat. Just slow way down, like if the recording of this voice suddenly went very, very slow, Just have an intention, a reminder, a way to be with it that you just cannot do any harm by going slow. There cannot be anything bad that happens by going slowly. I know sometimes people feel like if I go too slowly, I'm going to miss eating that thing. It's going to be gone. It's going to vanish. It will not. You can go find that thing and eat it, right? I mean, that's maybe a very, very old, that's coming out of an old framework, something that's kind of imprinted on you that's not currently happening in the present moment. So going slow is fine. So you're going to be safe. Nothing terrible is going to happen with slowing down. Okay, this is one of my favorite images that supports this mindset of going slower. And that is one of my favorite teachers who's passed over now, named David Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins. He lived into the ripe old age in his 80s. He also shared this difficulty at one point with his life with noticing heavy weight, a tendency to overeat, something off in the balance of food and eating. And he decided to address it. And he came up with this experience of he wanted to go so slow that he would lie down, complete rest, when he felt hungry, when he was not actually hungry. So when he felt like he wanted to eat and he wasn't hungry, and ask himself, am I hungry? If the answer is no, he would lie down. Can you imagine like being at a feast or gathering that we're talking about and just saying, I need a little rest. I just need to step out for a moment. You can go to the bathroom. You can find an empty room in the house. You can tell the people that are hosting, or if it's your home, you can say, I'm just going to take a moment. I'll be right back. Can you imagine just even having that in your mind instead of being so sure that your presence is necessary nonstop, that people need to ask you for things, or that it's impolite to step away for a moment? Or what if you even just lay down on the couch? And if that is funny to you and you think, I could never, ever do that, just imagining it is a different mindset. Oh yeah, I am going to move so slowly here that I'm ready to lie down on the couch the minute I think that I'm hungry when I'm actually not, right? And this is just to be able to have contact and connect and notice what's in the room and notice who's with you and what else is going on besides the food. You're actually more interested in all those things than food, especially when you aren't hungry. Those are very, very interesting things to most people. Even the biggest introvert and shy person, like I used to feel like I was all the time. I still have that element within. Very, very introverted, very shy. If I'm in a new environment and all the people are unknown to me, I feel very cautious. I just feel naturally kind of stilted, a little bit awkward. It's just the way I am. Kind of want to move up against the wall and just take in my environment and look around. But I'm not scared. I used to be scared of the people. I don't feel afraid of them anymore. I just feel like intensely interested in what's going on. I'll stare at people sometimes in restaurants or in new gatherings. Wow, what's going on over there? That person's fascinating. So just notice that you are very interested in all the people that are there, and without taking anything personally. Slow, slow, slow. Even people's questions to you, their requests of you, what else is going on? Nothing's an emergency. It is not an emergency. It is not an emergency. Another way to slow down is to do little reminders with yourself, like wear a little bracelet, and it means your slow down bracelet. Everything's slow. Everything's slow. Relax. Relax. If somebody did this particular, step in the eating peace process, the first one that I bring, slowing down, if you only did that and you did it in a deep, deep way and you were committed to it when it comes to anything around food and eating, or thinking when it comes to food and eating, and how your feelings are when it comes to food and eating, you'd be cured. And I know that's why there's another 7 steps, because there's some other tricky and interesting things that are happening when it comes to food and eating. And I'd love to share those with you too. So it just occurred to me, here we are entering the feasting season. And usually I do a program called Eating Peace Process online, and I've done it 2 years in a row. It is so much more refined, and it's so clear now after doing it twice to understand how people can experience the transition into an eating peace experience. So I'm not doing it at this exact time of year. I usually start it right before Thanksgiving in the United States and into these dark, wintry months when there seems to be a lot more food around. Now, of course, there's food around in all kinds of events and celebrations year-round. This is just something that is in humanity. So I'm not starting the eating peace process this year until January, mid-January. And I thought I would offer a free masterclass that goes over these steps. So the very first one being the slowing down process, the slowing down point. And then I'm going to share with you the other 6 that you can gather, so you've got some tools to use for this desperate time when there's food everywhere. This can be a celebration for you, just like it can be for any person that has a normal relationship with food. And what I mean by normal is, balanced, relaxed, productive, supportive. Food is something that we seem to need to have in our bodies in order to keep this body alive. And it's great that it's brought us incredible pleasure, that it's given, there's a mouth with taste buds, and there's a way of, that eating is something really lovely and pleasurable and joyful to experience. Not frantic, not overdone, not overwrought, not substituting for something else that you need comfort about, not a fill in for boredom, not something to help you when you're afraid. Eating is not that when it's in balance, when it's eating peace. And so hopefully these other steps will help you relax even further when it comes to food and eating, preparing food, being with food, feasting on food, feasting with other people. All right? So if you are interested in that, there's a link down below. You can register. So I only send out all the information to the people who want to attend the masterclass next Wednesday, November 23rd, who want to attend. You sign yourself up, and I make sure then I'll just communicate with only you, and we'll all get on the online together, and I'll share with you the other steps. But meanwhile, if you're not able to come, no problem. Just remember this one step. It's almost the most important and fundamental. This one, slow down, slow down. And there are, think about lying down. Think about the old emergency preparedness thing that we learned for emergencies in school. At least I did when I was about 9. Stop, drop, and roll. If your clothes catch on fire, that's what you're supposed to do. And I remember I've never had my clothes catch on fire in my entire life. But I always remembered, oh, how interesting if my clothes catch on fire. And that's what it feels like sometimes when you want to overeat, right? When you're around tons and tons of food, and, you panic because it's your thing. It's your addictive process. It's your compulsive process that you've always focused on is food and eating. That's what it was for me. And you feel like something's you're catching on fire inside of you, your emotions. So what was that little emergency preparedness plan? Stop, freeze, drop to the floor, and roll around. So can you imagine how funny that is? It brings some humor into the situation. You're in the middle of a huge Thanksgiving feast, and there's family everywhere, and maybe all those old things come up because of how people act that you disapprove of, and you don't feel appreciated or whatever, and you just suddenly, when you feel like, I'm going to start eating, stop, drop, and roll. You're rolling around on the floor. People would be like, what is going on? But it could be very funny. And to bring humor into this experience is much more fun than the seriousness of overeating and the pain and the self-degradation and self-criticism, the self-hatred for bloating yourself and stuffing yourself. Nobody really wants to do that. Neither do you. So just consider interruption of the speed. Slow down. Get a friend or one person that you can tell at that party that you're going to, at that gathering, that it's your practice to move slowly. You're doing a mindfulness practice. You're doing a mindset change. And you want to practice being slow when it comes to gatherings and food and eating. And make sure that person's on call to be your support when you go to this gathering. Even they might be there or they might be just on the phone, somebody you can talk with. And step out of the room and slow down. So there's some ways that hopefully will help you with slowing down. You have the resource in you. You can do this. If I could do it, so can you. Bye, everybody.